A day after that horrifying chopper crash, questions loom on the circumstances. What led to this kind of a crash in Coonoor? And India today has accessed footage of that Mi-17 V5 chopper that crashed in Coonoor that led to the death of Chief of Defence Staff General Bipin Rawat, his wife and 11 other personnel. Take a close look at this footage. You can see that the chopper is, and the pilot is in control of the chopper. It's not veering left and right. And you can see that it's essentially enveloped in dense fog all around. There's extremely dense fog. Visibility, no doubt, would have been a problem. And in this video that we're playing, it seems to have been shot by one of the locals. You can hear suddenly a thud, a boom, and that confirms that yes, the mishap took place. The crash had happened just then. This video was shot very close by. The railway track is very close to the crash site. And you can hear the man, in fact, asking in that video, Vindacha, which means, has it fallen? And these are locals who are walking by. You can see all of their eyes are on the sky because of the fact that the chopper was flying so low. The visibility is very poor. That's established in this video that there was inclement weather, but the chopper is in full control, at least appears to be so. It's low flying, but definitely not veering off. There are, of course, going to be a number of reasons that are being looked into based on this footage alone. One is a possible disorientation in the cockpit, whether it was a technical glitch, whether it was a crash landing gone wrong. So many questions right now, and once the investigation is complete, we'll really have answers to those questions of what led to this unfortunate crash. So that is the footage from seconds before the chopper crash. Shivarur, our executive editor, is with us on this broadcast. We also have Rickson, who's reporting from the military hospital in Wellington. Shiv, I want to come across to you first to analyze, decode what that video establishes for us. A number of possibilities that really it talks about when you talk about what led to the crash of that chopper. What to you are the big talking points and takeaways from that video?
A very quick number of takeaways from the video, Akshita. One is, of course, the bad weather, which is something that all experts had, conjectured on yesterday. That's proven to be correct. The low cloud cover, that moving cloud, that fog and mist, which is very typical of the Nilgiri Mountains, obviously quite prevalent there. The visibility obviously was very poor, or at least rapidly deteriorated, at least during this phase of the flight. The helicopter appears to be flying pretty low, which means either it was not in control or for some other reason, it was during the approach phase to the Gymkhana helipad, which was still a fair distance away. We're told that the crash site was about over 10 kilometers away from the actual landing site. So this would not have been a low approach at this point of time. However, the environmental factors cannot be ignored. They're very clearly captured in this particular video. The other technical aspect that I'd like to comment on, Akshita, like I said, is because from the sound and from the motion of the helicopter, it doesn't appear to be catastrophically out of control. We don't know. Obviously, we are not experts and cannot tell if there was some kind of technical fault that is not visible in this video. But the helicopter itself doesn't appear to be, out of control. It's not spinning rapidly. The tail rotor appears to be working just fine. It appears to be in kind of slow forward motion, but appears to be in control and in a fairly steady hover. But what may have happened in the seconds after that, which is completely blanketed by that cloud into which the helicopter disappears, will hold the key into what happened. And that's where the cockpit voice recorder and the FDR, the flight data recorder, the black box, as it's called, will tell a more detailed, technical, data-based, answers for those questions. So this video is already with the Court of Inquiry, and they will be scrutinizing every frame of it to try and distill as much information and intelligence that they possibly can into how this horrific tragedy happened. I also do know that the Court of Inquiry staff have sent out teams to ask people all across that area, this entire bowl of hills, if anybody else has managed to capture this tragedy on camera before it happened, because that will in many ways aid the investigation into all of this. The one aspect I'd like to just mention quickly before I end, Akshata, is the possibility of a disorientation in the cockpit. Were the pilots in control of the helicopter, trying to make evasive maneuvers, but was it too late? Were they trying to climb out? But did they strike into terrain while being in full control of the helicopter? All of these are possibilities. I don't want to say that we are moving towards one conclusion or the other. That only the Court of Inquiry will decide. But this video is very valuable in terms of what it will tell them.
Shiv, while we're talking about the factor of inclement weather, this time of the year in the Nilgiris, it's always like this. There's extremely dense fog. And considering that they were heading to Wellington, officials must be used to also maneuvering through this kind of weather. This is 10 kilometers away from the intended destination where, in fact, the chopper was supposed to land. Is it normal? Because if you hear the video, you can hear how low flying, and not just see it, but you can also hear it because the sound is so loud. It tells you how low the chopper was flying. Is that normal by any circumstance that 10 kilometers away from where it was supposed to land, it's so low?
Very good question. No, it's not. It's definitely not normal, and that's one of the open-ended questions that the crash inquiry will have to look into. Why was the helicopter, so low? Was there a loss of power? Was it flying on one? It's a twin-engine helicopter. Was it flying on one engine? What happened? Those are questions that the video will not answer. Those will have to come out from the black box of the helicopter. But the question you asked about, whether this is normal, the flight route that was taken, you're totally right, Akshita. Totally normal. The weather of this kind is always like this at this time of year. Helicopters from Sulur to Wellington are flying on a routine basis, and I know many hundreds of people who've taken this precise circuit, Sulur to the Gymkhana helipad circuit, even in bad weather. Given the fact that Wing Commander Chauhan and Squadron Leader Kuldeep were both highly experienced pilots, this was a reliable helicopter, maintenance was conducted very well. Obviously, there is something that we are not seeing, both in this video and from the crash site, that is not apparent so far, because it must have taken a combination of catastrophic, technical faults or otherwise, for this to have happened. Because if you have a reliable helicopter, a tried and tested flight path, a crew that is fully trained to navigate such bad weather, is fully capable of using their training to navigate a helicopter even in zero visibility conditions, where in most cases the standard operating procedure would be to climb out of the cloud and not downwards, would all suggest that a combination of things had gone disastrously wrong in that helicopter, coupled with the possibility that the weather had disoriented the pilots, which is always a very dangerous thing, because it basically gives them very little time to react before they get their bearings, by which time the helicopter may have crashed. So the trick now for the Court of Inquiry is to fix what that combination of things is, Akshita, that went so disastrously wrong at the same time. And remember, it must have happened at the same time, and that's why there was so little time possibly for the crew to actually recover, and then it went straight into the ground. And I don't want to conjecture, but this video will provide a sense of direction to the Court of Inquiry of what those final minutes were like.
And I think you also answer a lot of questions that viewers have been asking us about the weather, about whether that was the only factor that led to this crash. As we mentioned, pilots in these areas will be very used to, in fact, maneuvering through this kind of inclement weather. As Shiv mentioned, in this kind of circumstances, dense cloud cover, dense fog, you'd go up, not down. So something definitely seems to have gone wrong, and only detailed investigation really can ascertain what's happened. I just want to quickly take this across also to Rickson. He's joining us live from outside the military hospital in Wellington. Rickson, as we beam this footage, that's emerged of a local who shot it, and you can see seconds before the chopper crash, there's been one survivor in that crash, Group Captain Varun Singh. Any updates that are coming in on his condition as well? Because in the investigation, and as we all pray hard, of course, for his speedy recovery, in the investigation, his testimony of exactly what happened will also be very crucial.
Absolutely, that we are also waiting for the health status of Captain Varun Singh, but no official communication yet from the military side. Right now we are here in the Wellington military base here, but no official communication yet from them. The Lord Survivor Varun Singh, the whole country is also praying for his recovery. But we are also waiting for the official confirmation of official updates from the military, but nothing yet. At the same time, within short few minutes, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Mi-17 will reach here in the military hospital for the red-laying ceremony. The ceremony will start at 10:30, and the preparations are underway. Military senior officials and also the police is making the preparations for that. And after that, the mortal remains will take to Zulur by 11 o'clock, and by 11 o'clock that's why on road, and from there to the national capital. This is what the plan that we are getting from the officials here. Anyway, within short few minutes, the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister will reach here for the red-laying ceremony, Akshaya.
All right, and Rixon, we'll come across to you for that. As Rixon pointed out, in about 15 minutes from now, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Mi-17, who's already landed there yesterday, will be paying his respects to General Rawat and all the others who died in this crash. Shiv, as we play out that footage shot by one of the locals from very close to the crash site, I just want to also put out this update that Pramod is flashing from the site, that the IAF officials are present at the spot, that they are in fact investigating the cause of the crash. The information that they pick up, the black box, all of the other elements from the debris, all of the technical parts, that plus this footage, plus anything else that the locals have to offer, will really help us in getting answers as to exactly what happened. But to quickly sum up for you what this video establishes for us, one is that yes, there was inclement weather, very, very dense fog, and usually in these areas of the Nilgiris at this time of the year, it's at about 11 in the morning that you really see this kind of fog picking up. It becomes very, very dense, visibility is at an all-time low, but that's something that the pilots would have factored in, particularly because in these areas it's very normal for this to be the weather condition at this time of the day. So having said that, while inclement weather is a factor, there will be questions of whether the pilot did or did not anticipate it. Secondly, it is the fact that the chopper and the pilot seem to be in full control. We can't tell you what happened moments after this when it goes behind that particular hillock, but you can see there in the footage that we have before it disappears behind some more fog, you can see that the chopper isn't really veering left or right. So it definitely looks like the pilots had things under control till perhaps the last second. So we can't rule out that maybe there was disorientation. The third factor is that yes, the chopper was flying very, very low. It's not normal for a chopper, as Shiv also pointed out to us, to be going at this level, at this height, especially because it was 10 kilometers away from the intended destination. Was there an attempt to crash land? We don't know that yet, because at this point the investigation is still going on. But from what locals have told us, plus adding the footage that we have that you see on your screens there, the chopper hit a tree. These are jackfruit trees in the area, and because of the fact that in the Nilgiris you have a lot of areas where the escalation is slightly higher, so because of that, with these mammoth jackfruit trees that are in the area, was it possible that because of the inclement weather, the pilot didn't see the tree and hit it? All of that is speculation at this point, but locals did say, eyewitnesses did say that they saw the chopper hitting the tree and then falling down, bursting into flames. There's been one survivor in this particular crash group, Captain Varun Singh. We're all praying hard for his recovery, and we'll be getting you updates also on his condition right now. But what we can tell you is that his testimony, based on this footage, based on the evidence that they gather from the site, will also be crucial in establishing the exact sequence of events and exactly what went wrong, what led to the crash of this chopper in Coonoor. And this is in the upper reaches of Coonoor, really just 10 kilometers away from the intended destination. In about 45 minutes from now, we will have a statement from Defence Minister Rajnath Singh in both houses of the Parliament. At 11, he'll first be speaking in the Lok Sabha, followed by a statement in the Rajya Sabha.